Hello, folks. Welcome to Vino Experience with David Alexander. Doing a little bit of an outside shoot today in this cloudy, kind of a blustery day. A little bit chilly, so I've got the fire going right next to me here. And it's just the right setting for talking about Spanish wines. Spanish wines. Um, this is what I love about Spanish wines is that they are such a great value. I think that Spanish wines are probably one of the best values in the wine market right now. And let me explain one of the reasons why I can say that. A few years ago, there was a big deal in Italy. Um, some really crafty folks in Sicily got a hold of some labels for Sassicaia. I believe it was either Sassicaia or Tignanello, but I think it was Sassicaia. And they decided, hey, listen, we can make some fraudulent bottles of wine, and we're going to sell those for hundreds of dollars. And guess what they used inside of that wine? And they fooled people for many, many months. They used $10 Spanish table wine, and they were selling those bottles for hundreds of dollars. You know what? That's how good Spanish wine is. That's the value you can get with Spanish wine. You can spend a little bit of money and actually get a very, very nice wine. So let's talk about Spain a little bit. I'm not going to make this extensive. I'm just going to highlight some of the major regions, just three out of there's probably at least a dozen. Um, but we're going to talk about some of those regions, the grapes that come from them, and then I'm gonna give you some nice examples of some Spanish wine to try at home. Okay, here we go. Let's start. First of all, let's talk about the grapes that are going to come from Spain. Well, let me even begin with this. Let's talk about some history. Back in 1100 BC, the Phoenicians actually came and planted grapes, and they founded Cadiz as a trading post, and they planted some grapes, and there's probably maybe even some grapes growing there. I don't know for sure, but they actually brought a wine culture with them. And then that was followed by the Romans, which, believe it or not, some of the most exported wine to the Roman outpost was Spanish wine. It was affordable, it was good, it was plentiful, and they were able to supply that for their troops in the various outposts they have throughout the Roman Empire. Then we entered a dark period, 711 AD to 1492 AD. The Moors took over Spain. They outlawed wine, and so the wine industry actually had to stop completely and then had to rebuild after those years, 1492. Many of the people came back to some of the wineries that had been in existence, and in around 1880, Bordeaux winemakers came to Spain and brought heavily influenced Bordeaux winemaking practices to Spain. And so a lot of the wines that have been made in Spain since then have that Bordeaux influence. The red grapes of Spain, Tempranillo, which is similar to a Merlot. And then we have Garnacha, similar to a Zinfandel, that little bit of fruitiness plus spice. Then you have Monastrell, also known as Mourvèdre in France. That is similar to the Cab Sauv in its dryness and acidity level. You have Graziano, another Zinfandel-like style blending grape. And then we have Mazuelo, also known as Carignan, which is also similar to Merlot. And then the whites, we have Verdejo and we have Albariño. Both of those are very similar to a Sauv Blanc. The Spanish wine regions. We are going to talk about, first of all, Rioja, which is one of their DOCs, Denominazione Origine Controllato in Italian. I do not know the Spanish, but it is place of origin, controlled place of origin. And it is one of the largest, probably if you've had Spanish wine, more than likely you've had a Rioja. Primarily, you're going to be looking at a Tempranillo wine with some aging in small oak. And their aging requirements really interesting. Crianza, 2 years. Reserva 3 years, and Grand Reserva 5 years. And what I love about Spanish aging is this: they require bottle aging along with barrel aging. And so, what I love about that is the fact that what begins in the barrel really needs to finish in the bottle. But many times we rush those bottles to market without having that continued aging in the bottle. And so, what this is doing a really nice, excellent job of completing that aging requirement on the wines. Now, the Rioja region is northeast of Madrid, up close to the French border, and it is right on the Ebro River. In fact, the name Rioja actually comes from a kind of a celebration of that river. The name Rioja is actually in consideration of the fact that this region is planted itself right there on the Ebro River. And then in Catalonia, we have priorat. Um, this is again a little bit further south of Rioja, a little bit further east, even a little bit closer to that French border. Traditionally, old vine Grenache is grown there, full-bodied, intense, at least 12 months aging in the Priorat district. And then northeast of this country in Galicia, which is actually called the Green Spain because it's such a lush green vegetation there. We have the Rias baixus, excuse my pronunciation, not very good. And here we have Albariño. This is very close to the Portuguese border, growing fantastic white wines in the Spanish region of Rios Bias. And also, let me let you know, Wine Spectator, May 31st. Beautiful article on Spanish wines for your consideration. Make sure to pick that up. And let's taste some Spanish wines, all right? Now we're going to stay in that Rios Bias region, and we are going to do an Albariño. This is coming to us from Pazo La Maria. $16.99 for that bottle. This is Albariño wine, 13% ABV, 91 points. This is a 2023 vintage. Crisp, nectarine, peach, floral, medium bodied. And here, I have to tell you, when you're doing white wines, I tasted this when I pulled it immediately out of the fridge. And guess what? It was too tart. I couldn't taste those tropical notes, those peach, those nectarine notes. I couldn't taste them because it was too cold. So let that warm up. Totally different wine. So really, try this wine, but make sure that you keep it in the fridge. But when you serve it, bring it out. Let it sit for about maybe 20 minutes outside the fridge so you can taste those beautiful, beautiful stone fruit notes. That is really nice. Think about that with maybe some tapas, maybe some rice dishes. That'd be a great white wine. Grilled fish. That's going to work well with. It's got a crisp acidity to it, but also balanced with those beautiful stone fruit notes afterwards. Absolutely beautiful wine. And for $6.99, $16.99, that is a great buy. Great buy. And did I say 91 points? 91 points. Okay. Next, we're going to, I think, one of the wines that I recommend the most coming out of Spain, and that is going to be a priorat. This priorat wine, this is the conreria priorat tinto, and I will have in the notes the names of these wines and where you can get them from, the price. I'll have that in the notes. This particular bottle, I recommend it highly. This is going to be a Garnacha blend. It's Grenache with Syrah and Merlot. Beautiful red blend. Again, this is up near that French border, so it has a little bit higher elevation, but you can actually taste a little bit of what you would find in a Rhone blend in this as well. But from Spain, the price point again, $24.99 for this wine. Oh, delicious. That is a really nice red wine. I'd put that with a beautiful meat dish. Um, oh gosh, I'm thinking you could do that with some grilled steak. You could do that with some roasted lamb. That would also go really well. It's got a little bit of a spice note on it. So you know what else that would be? Fajitas. Put that with some beef fajitas. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. Subscribe to the channel. I know this video is a little bit longer. Did a couple wines today. I wanted to do 2 of them. And hope you like it, enjoy it. Leave any comments below, any questions you have. And again, this is Vino Experienza with David Alexander coming to you from this lovely campsite.